I'm back with another video. Some of the places that I go to don't seem that difficult to get to, but then when I see them, I feel like I'm in another world. This place is one of them. So I went on a road trip, and although there were several stops that I made on this road trip, many of which I will be posting videos about soon, this particular stop was in White Sands National Park near Alamogordo, New Mexico. During my road trips, I've usually made several reservations at state parks and national parks that are 5 to 6 hours apart, and I'll spend the night, sometimes a couple of nights, and take my time moving about. White Sands National Park is about an hour and a half north of El Paso, Texas. It is the newest national park in the national park system. It became a national park in 2019. It held national monument status before that. When you first get to the park, it's not much to look at. And it'll make you kind of wonder, or at least made me wonder, I drove all this way for this. But trust me, it gets a lot more interesting. White Sands is a very small national park. The road in and out is only about 8 miles long. After you've driven about 4 miles into the park, the landscape changes. First thing you notice, everything is all white. Almost looks like a snowdrift. The road is white, the dunes are white, everything is white. Before I go further, let me say this. You are in the desert. Take your hat, take sunscreen, take lots of water. There are no trees, and there is very little shade. You will see signs posted around the park that remind you, drink water. A lot of people get so captivated and taken in by the beauty of these dunes that they forget to drink water. You start climbing one dune, and then there's another, and then there's another, and then there's another 50. Then you realize that you've done all of this without any water. How crazy is that? Here's a little fun fact. We all call them White Sands National Park. That is the name of the park. But the dunes are actually made out of gypsum. They are not sand. They look like sand. It feels like sand. It has the consistency of sand. But they're gypsum. They are the largest gypsum sand dunes in the world. There is no place else like this. There's no place that's even close. Here's how this happens. Gypsum dissolves in water. The San Andres Mountains that surround White Sands National Park are made of gypsum. So when it rains, it dissolves the gypsum. It runs down the mountain. It settles at the foot of the mountain. It dries. Wind picks up the dry sand and blows it into these sand dunes. This has taken place over thousands and thousands of years. Even if you don't understand the science of all of this, it is obvious to see that this landscape is stunning. As far as your eyes can see, dune after dune after wave of dune just seems to go on. It is almost hypnotic. When you look out into the landscape, there seems to be a haze in the air. That is not a cloud, that is not fog, that is not smog, that is sand. 2 times a day when White Sands National Park is at its best. Well, no, first let me say this. White Sands National Park, unlike many national parks, is not open 24 hours a day. It's open from sunrise to sunset, dawn to dusk. There's a gate. They open it when I was there, they opened it at 7 o'clock. And when the sun sets, rangers start rounding people up and getting you out of there. Probably a good reason for that, because if you look at the map of White Sands National Park, it is right next door to the White Sands Missile Range. And there are times when they are doing missile testing or testing of some sort that they shut the park down. Something tells me this is not the place you want to be when they're over there firing off stuff. Remember, there is an active military base that borders White Sands National Park, so it is not a very good idea to wander outside of the park boundary. I'm pretty sure if you get too far beyond that boundary, you're going to get a visit from someone wearing a uniform. Here's another interesting tidbit. Even though we're in the desert and it gets really hot out here, the sand, the gypsum, we're going to call it sand. I'm going to call it sand, is cool to the touch. You can pick it up. It does not get hot like silica sand that we see on the beach. You can walk around barefoot, which a lot of people do. Actually, I did. Hiking around in the sand in boots can get a bit cumbersome. The sand will not burn your feet, will not burn your hands. You can sit on it, you can pick on it. It is actually cool to the touch. As you drive further into the park, you're going to pass a few of these picnic areas. These are the only places where you can stop and eat. The only place in this park where there's going to be any shade of any sort whatsoever. And there's also a bathroom there. Drive a little bit further along the loop and you're going to come to the Alkali Flats Trail. This is by far the best and most beautiful trail in the park. I highly suggest that you take it. However, before you wander around, remember this: there are no trees, there are no landmarks. The trail is marked by small orange pylons. They're about 3 feet tall, and I will just say, after you cross a few of these dunes, they all start to look alike. So you might want to make sure you have your bearings and know where you're going. The trail is marked by a sign, and there's also a parking lot, which you will probably see several cars parked there. A lot of people, as soon as they enter the park, they come directly to this trailhead. Best time to take this trail is first thing in the morning for the sunrise, which is beautiful, and in the afternoon, just before sunset, during the golden hour. Absolutely stunning. There are a lot of people who come here and just sit on the sand dune and watch the sunset. I found a spot, decided I want to sit here for a minute, see if I can catch the sunset, and just take in the sights of the sand, the mountains, the dunes. It was incredible. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to see when I came. I'm really glad that I did. As I said, there is nothing else like this on the planet. So as the sun is setting and it's starting to get dark, I figure I better pack up because this is not the kind of place that I want to be wandering around in the dark. I did do this. I took a compass reading of the parking lot. So if I did get caught in the dark, I could just kind of navigate my way over and around the dunes to get back. Fortunately, I did not need all of that. My truck and one other person still out in the sand dunes. I do try to squeeze as much as I can out of every day. Please take a moment to click that like and subscribe button. I'm trying to keep up with that YouTube algorithm. So this has been quite an adventure. I'm glad I stopped here. I will be posting more videos from this road trip, but until then, I will leave you with these. Thank you for watching. I'll be posting another video soon. Stay tuned.